Bet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Hello and welcome back to another day of what is going to be an epic event, live to you from China. We're here over in the Ukraine studios. We're kind of cheating a little bit, but still we're totally live, right? That's what this is all about. Of course, here for another day of the Chongqing Invitational.
Yeah, definitely. And today's elimination day, unfortunately for some of these teams, we're going to be sending some teams home. We got TyLoo taking on Scars Absolute of Japan in our first game. Again, loser that is eliminated from the tournament. Then, of course, we have another game coming up between Boot Dreamscape and Flash. Again, loser will be going home. And then we'll have our first decider match at the very end of the day, where Vegas Squadron will be taking the winner of TyLoo and Scars Absolute to see who will be moving on to the semifinals as that second seed. As of course, we already did see a couple teams move on to the semifinals yesterday, one of which was MVP PK of Korea, which I think people maybe didn't expect them to just come through first seed, but certainly they've been on the rise, and that was a great run for them. And of course, AGO, no surprise there, making it on the other end of the other group as we take a look at our man pick now.
Yeah, taking a look at this veto, obviously, I think a little bit of Toby, you were incredibly excited for this matchup. You think it's going to be super close, Dustin?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. These two teams have actually never played against each other, so
at least there's that, right? There's that surprise factor, but overall, this Japanese side surely should be the underdog going into this one by quite a far margin.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, outside of having like a really close map against Fnatic on Mirage at WESG, typically when this Japanese team plays against some of the better teams in the Asian region, they struggle, right? Like when they've played like a Boot Dreamscape or like a Vici, typically these are teams that they actually really struggle against. The only teams that they've really ever beat that were, of note were, I mean, they've beat Mongols before in some online play, but they've also lost to Mongols before in online play, so kind of a mixed bag there. The one thing about this team, though, that you can say is that they're all quite young. So they have still a lot of time to maybe learn and develop and try to become more experienced players, and certainly competing in events like this does give you that opportunity. The oldest player on their team, I think, is like 22 or 23 years old. Then everyone else is in their younger 20s, and even Cage is actually 17. So definitely a young lineup, and some of these guys do have some talent, particularly Laz and Crow. Laz in particular as the opera and in-game leader, but the rest of the team really lack for firepower, I feel like, at least consistently.
I think that's going to be the biggest issue, right, is that they might have a few stars, but it's also just kind of, well, how bright will they shine, ultimately? I mean, especially in a matchup like this against TyLoo. TyLoo being a team who has some pretty significant names when you look at the Asian CS landscape on a whole, and not even just the names on the roster, but you look at TyLoo as just a name on its own as well, in its own right, in fact, then it kind of speaks for itself, if anything. So
yeah, certainly TyLoo is probably, I don't know, I mean, like, MVP PK is trying to top them as like the best team in Asia right now, especially with like Flash kind of falling apart, some other teams having roster issues.
TyLoo still hold it, though.
But TyLoo probably do still hold it, yeah. I think this event could put MVP PK over them if they were able to have like a deeper run or something, or at least it would start that process. But yeah, TyLoo's still kind of the de facto #1 team coming out of Asia. They do have a lot of firepower on this team, particularly Bentet and Excurit. So we do see them looking to charge out into middle here. Again, we're starting out in Inferno, and it is going to be TyLoo on the terrorist side. They do control brackets already, so this is a decent bit of map control here. Worth noting that this is a really successful map for TyLoo online, but offline they've actually struggled on this map a decent bit.
Interesting to see how things do work out. Already initial duel that doesn't really look too ideal, as With your MVPs of the Japanese side struggling to connect that shot towards long, allowing the split to come through on towards B as TyLoo will ultimately just collapse on that site. The Keys trying desperately to survive, flicks back for a second, that's crispy as anything. Looking for more, good for a third, but nope. Has to reload and sneak on that in, it's just not the play he wants. It's going to be a bit of a back and forth affair, leaving ultimately Captain Mo to try and pull this one through. 30 seconds on the clock, bear in mind. A decent position. Has to try and force these 1v1s. Doesn't really want to swing on them together as a pair. Has to go grab him back the bomb, bear in mind, which makes things a little bit more problematic.
Yeah, especially with the clock right now. Like, trying to actually get this bomb planted against these two players, Banana, is going to be so difficult. He's getting a 1v1 duel against Bars, but unable to capitalize. So it will be the pistol round going to Scar's Absolute, and that's great news. Particularly to Cage was big on that round. And this is the other player that this Scar's Absolute team is hoping is going to kind of be there for them, right? Like, you expect Laz to perform. Usually Crow performs pretty well, but Takage is supposed to be this young 17-year-old player that's supposed to be that next guy to make like kind of a fragging trio for this team, so to speak. And
you want him to be full of energy, right? Especially being
exactly.
that 17-year-old. He's the guy that's not only kind of bringing the morale and bringing that enthusiasm and overall that hype that a 17-year-old just brings to a roster naturally, just from age, but you also want that raw throughput of just frags.
Yeah. He definitely has like good mechanics when I've seen him play. I haven't watched this team that much, I'll be 100% honest about that, but even talking to some people from the Asian region, like Love, for example, who has seen this team play a little bit more, definitely, you know, notes that Takage has mechanical ability. Just he hasn't hit that consistency yet, which I think is like the normal path for a young player. Like, typically they show you a bit of promise at the beginning, and that's why you decide to kind of take a gamble on them, but then it takes them that time to kind of mold themselves into a consistent player that you can rely on. So certainly, you know, Takage will be a person to keep an eye on throughout this series to see if he can kind of help Laz out to have the firepower to contend with TyLoo.
Effectively, what we're saying is he's just a giant tease.
Well, okay. I mean, maybe. We'll see. Sometimes they deliver. You know, you never know. Just got to give it time and patience. He could deliver.
A man can dream, that's for sure. TyLoo was on the receiving end of one fairly harming frag grenade as they do try and see how far they can get up through mid. Looking to wrap around through short, obviously just collapse on towards the ace, like get up close and personal with these pistols. Pretty standard stuff overall. Shouldn't really be allowed to get away with it so far. I mean, Laz doing a good job, and Barca up towards Apps is also just chiming in. Money being made ultimately. Being set. All that remains. He's going to pick off one. Can't quite finish off Laz though, walking away on just 16 HP as Scars do go 2-0, only losing 2 players, ultimately building up their economy a fair bit now. Starting strong, I'd say. Yeah,
clean rounds. I mean, that's just Laz playing inside the site on the boost box. Pretty powerful spot to hold. Did give TyLoo a lot of room to actually get up lane and get in the site, and with those CZs that could have actually been quite scary, but Laz seemed to coast those waters just fine. And now TyLoo are going to be on a full save, just Glocks, no armor, no utility. So you'd expect this to be, you know, just the SMGs kind of mincing them in a round like this.
Going deep down towards the bottom of Banana, just using that to get that early control. Effectively blocking TyLoo down in towards this kind of T-steps area, which when they're on just Glocks, they can't really do anything anyway, but that's kind of...
You could even be calling this like a timeout almost in a way. Like, they're obviously not calling it tactical, but they could easily just be kind of sitting there chilling out, thinking about what they want to do next round. Maybe just trying to see if they can't give as many SMG frags over.
Yeah, that's going to be the downside here. I mean, look at the amount of money he's going to be making right now. Everyone is coming his way. Every kill, in fact, so far has been found by an SMG. That says a lot about...
I mean, they did buy 4 of them, to be fair. So if you're trying to avoid an SMG frag, if you're TyLoo, they only have like a 20% chance of avoiding it, right?
Kind of sucks for them. That's really the end point there. It's just the sheer amount of money that Scars are going to be able to grow up now on their CT side.
How many do they keep is the question. I think they'll keep the UMPs. They might keep all of them and try to do something aggressive. I mean, that's certainly possible.
This is the double-ended sword, though, of those SMGs, right? You make all the money, but you might have to spend that just as quickly to replace the people you might lose in this round now, because you have 4 SMGs up against what's going to be a full AK buy from TyLoo.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to... I mean, I imagine they're going to keep at least the UMPs, but I'm curious if they'll keep the MP9s as well, or if they are going to decide to upgrade to M4s. Nope, yeah, they'll keep all 4 SMGs, so this is where you want to play close angles, you want to play aggressive and try to give the SMGs their best chance, because at range, that AK is going to dominate you. And it's not as if anyone is lacking head armor on TyLoo, so you don't even get that kind of extra bonus with, you know, the mobility of an MP9. And there is DD already taking Barca out, who's trying to get aggressive inside window room. So TyLoo just playing their default, looking to get apartments control.
Just going to be building up bit by bit. DD did find a kill, just like you say, but also damage was done on towards Mo, putting him down to 53 HP. So at least some sort of, not quite an equal footing, but...
Yeah, it's worth noting that under Excurate, which is the new in-game leader for the team, actually, Bentet was doing it for a little while, but now it's going to be Excurate, who, of course, is from the same scene as Bentet, but from Singapore. He has this team playing a lot more patient and a lot more default CS than they used to just do like explosive execute, so he's definitely kind of develop this team in a different direction. So it's worth noting that as we watch TyLoo play. But the key point is that there is a language barrier here. Apparently, Excurate calls to Bentet, and Bentet translates it to Chinese for the rest of the team. So that obviously can make like chaotic situations very difficult to navigate.
It's pretty funky.
So that definitely kind of puts a little bit of a ceiling on them. But we'll see as they try to explode on the speed bomb site.
A lot of damage being done. Takeishi's going to sneak in one, but this is just chip damage so far in this 4v4. More needs to happen for them to try and hold this site, and eventually it is going to be just a one plant for TyLoo, looking and sitting pretty. Crow just sat in towards church, but there's nothing he can really do in this one.
By the way, I mean Indonesia, not Singapore. I'm really sorry about that. I know they're from the same country, but I was thinking of another player and I said Singapore. They're both from Indonesia, so my apologies there. And they do communicate with each other, and Bentet does a lot of translating.
Slowly but surely trying to wrap in now. As sneaking the kill on Bentet, but it doesn't really change anything. I mean, this round is pretty much lock and key. The only argument here is, Crow, you're going to lose their UMP, you're going to make some money, kind of what's the play going to be? Trying to escape the site, you should really be a dead man walking. I mean, DD's struggling a little bit, so actually does drop an AK as well for TyLoo. But hey, it's TyLoo's first, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and again, that was around with what? They were working with a bunch of SMGs, right? And then you still managed to get 4 TyLoo players down and force a lot of rebuying. So, yeah, you want to win the round, obviously, but, at least you're keeping TyLoo's economy in check. You still have a full buy coming up in this round. M4's across the board. Laz is not going to go for the AWP. He's just going to go for an M4 so he can get utility in a kit. And we'll see if TyLoo wants to kind of keep this patient play up. They do have a couple of explosive executes here and there, but again, under Excurate, they typically do play a little bit more default, a little bit more slow. But again, and that's kind of how Inferno T-side works in general. It's not like anyone's reinventing the wheel on Inferno attack.
The phrase that comes to mind when you're trying to describe what Excurate has done to this team is just he's refined the
yeah, I think they're a lot more. I don't know if I would say disciplined, but they have set positions. They have default roles. They like to play from default a lot. And again, but on Inferno, it's hard to notice as much because everyone kind of plays the same.
The thing about TyLoo, if you watch them from the past year or so as they develop, one of the things that was always noted was their explosive style, like you said. But however, there was also the argument that explosive style was very kind of risque. There was a lot of mistakes within it.
So readable. You telegraph everything you're doing, and people just play retake on you.
It was pretty much more of the same, right, all the time. It was just them going for these kind of hard-hitting executes, that sort of play, that aggressive stuff through smoke. With this play, you got that. I guess I understand the kind of the lack of the hesitation to using the phrase discipline, but you do effectively have that extra layer of discipline, that extra layer of strategy, which allows TyLoo to
it makes you more diverse. Exactly, it makes you more diverse as a player. But that's a great pop flash for Poem. He should have probably gotten that second kill, but Mo at least makes sure that he stays ahead of the curve and keeps his team up and man. So that went about as good as you could hope for from TyLoo on what was a very dangerous pop flash to get this into a 4-on-3. They have control of top middle. They pushed B back, so Crow can't rotate. So they'll get a 4-on-2 on the save bomb side as they gather up together up lane. See if they can trade their way in.
Just going to use Mo to instigate here, clearing out towards the pit angle, but not checking for Bars. It is going to be a quick trade, but they've not cleared the corner. Laz given a simple double kill, finally shut down, but is it too little too late? With 8 seconds left, they can sneak in a plant, sure, but Excurate is 19 HP up against Crow, standing proud on 100. It's all going to be at the position he chooses right now as he holds for this push. Molly as well, though, for Crow. I mean, one smart Molly, this round is done, let alone anything else, but it looks like just not going to check his corners.
Yeah, that was really scary for TyLoo because when they killed that first player in sight, they were probably certain that maybe someone was like inside pit or inside of apartments or maybe library. They didn't expect it to be double sight, right? Like typically CTs are going to play some type of crossfire, like pit sight or something like that, or balcony sight. So when they get that first kill, they're not really expecting someone to be on top of the box. So Laz had a real chance to kind of steer that his team's way. And he got into a 1v1 where his teammate had the health advantage, so he definitely did his job in that regard. But Excurate still finding a way to win there. And that's 2 in a row for TyLoo, and now Scar's money has been depleted. So a great chance for TyLoo to go ahead and tie this thing up early on.
And with the reserves being emptied for Scars, things are less than ideal for them. Just CZs, USBs, pretty much bare-bone pistols here. They do have the 2 flashes on Laz, though, so hopefully they can use that to try and instigate an early duel, maybe find some success.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just going to boil down to whether or not TyLoo runs into the stack at middle or not, right? If they don't, then there's no chance for Scars to win. If they do, then maybe with the pistols they somehow cause a couple of kills, but Xcrit's clearing it out.
The upside is that there's only 2 SMGs in play this time around, so hopefully they can sort of deny that impact. Obviously securing 1 kill off the back of Poem there. Looks like Xcrit is just going to chase Laz down as well. Leaving just a Kij running down the bottom of Banana. Happy as anything. And there you have it, TyLoo 3-3, equalizing up against Scars in this game.
Yeah, Scars will have their money back, though, and they'll be able to get Laz on the AWP, I think for the first time. I don't think he's had one yet this game. They kept the SMGs and then went straight to rifles after they lost off of them, so he hasn't had the money really to do it until now. And so we'll see what Laz can do, because again, he is kind of the beacon of hope for this Scars Absolute team. He's definitely their top performer on a pretty consistent basis. And now he'll have his main weapon in hand, so we'll see if maybe he can use it, try to dictate the pace. They're going to go for a triple banana play off the top. They're getting aggressive. They're trying to get Laz's op out there, and it does do the trick. That takes down Captain Mel. That's exactly what Scars Absolute wants out of that.
It's a nice early aggressive shot. Through the edge of the smoke as well, that then does bloom on towards the top of Banana, so definitely going to make life a little bit more problematic. Obviously, that hasn't been punished either.
Yeah, but they've already been able to rotate to a more standard setup and get Laz's op actually on the other side of the map, and I like that. Like, you're kind of moving him around, not allowing TyLoo to have a read on where it is. They might suspect the op is still holding Banana, maybe even holding Banana solo. A lot of teams like to do that, so shifting the AWP back to A could certainly be something that TyLoo will be caught off by. You do see them clearing out top middle.
Ever so patient. Just going to let this one play out nice and slow. TyLoo definitely put on the back foot here, but
Scars rotated another player over towards A, actually. They have this idea that it's going to be some type of A hit because they don't have any top mid vision. And TyLoo did take control of brackets, and they probably heard that.
It was the 2 flashes as well. That you threw 2 flashes out in towards mid, so that extra
They're going to get a vulnerable B dom side here.
Making life a little difficult. The smokes do come down. The rotation is coming through from Crow, so it's not exactly...
Smart call by Cage, by the way, just to get the hell out of there. They actually don't have a smoke for CT.
Losing the duel anyway, though.
Yeah,
hate to see that.
Yeah, especially since Cage was playing so patient in construction behind the smoke, waiting for the rotate, then his teammate gets caught like that. That's very unfortunate. We'll see. It's still an even situation to try to retake with as far as numbers. They just lack utility for this retake.
They're playing so hesitant, though, to be honest, as well. I mean, you look towards the way they're approaching that church area. You've got Poem always playing so far back from his teammate to Kij. At least they're using the smoke to try and enter in through CT, but we're just seeing swing after swing from DD. Confidence from TyLoo up against the hesitation from Scars. Poem finally pushes in towards the site, but at that point, it's all on Kij to step up and make it happen anyway. Iantet just going to play it nice and carefully towards Banana. It was a bit of a scrap on the site, but ultimately TyLoo, they held all the cards there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where Scars Absolute kind of over-rotated to A, I think just because they lost control of brackets. They didn't really have information. TyLoo was throwing some utility there, so they thought, oh, this is going to be an A execute. But in reality, TyLoo goes for a late B play, so Cage is stuck alone. He did the right thing. He just kind of played behind the smoke, played construction, waited for a rotate. And the thing is, like, this should be a dream scenario if you're Scars because you're in a 5-on-4 and the CT spawn wasn't smoked. So, if anything, you should be lighting people up as they're trying to cross into the site. But unfortunately, like, that's where Laz should be with the AWP probably, like just getting free kills with the op. But unfortunately for them, there's actually TyLoo getting kills through CT spawning, and that's kind of what, I guess, turned the balance a little bit. And now TyLoo have the lead, and Scars Absolute back onto a very low econ situation here. Just that M4 from Laz saved. And he's already out. At least it's going to get recycled.
I like the idea, though. I mean, it was definitely a welcome change. Instead of pushing down mid or getting aggressive on Banana, they tried to work something in through apps. Issue is TyLoo, going back to this whole kind of default conversation, they're set up everywhere super far back, just holding for any aggression, any sort of show of face from Scars. So ZD quickly shuts that down, removes the 1 rifle from play. Poem is going to go and grab that, but there's less than ideal of a situation for the CT side.
Yeah, certainly not looking good. All 3 of their players are left at A, and of course TyLoo's taking into B. And so this is going to be pretty much in the books for TyLoo. So after going down 0-3 as soon as the guns have come out. TyLoo has been pretty dominant. I guess there was a couple of closer rounds, like that 1v1, for example, that X-Crit one. But other than that, TyLoo kind of just establishing themselves as we expected.
Great. Already beginning to swing down through Banana. It's a bit aggressive, to be honest, to taking these duels, but only losing one means it's not quite the end of the world. Only totaling up to 2 losses for TyLoo, but they can handle it. I mean, they got $9,000 on BNZ, so what more can you wish for?
Yeah, I mean, everything is going swimmingly now for TyLoo since they've been able to get their bank account sorted. Now, X-Crit will actually have his first crack at the AWP. Again, the main op for this team has been since he joined. Used to be like Captain Mo doing a lot of opping for the team back in the day. We've also seen DD use it at times, but now X-Crit certainly taken over that primary op role in tandem with being an IGL, which used to be a rarity, but I feel like we see a lot of teams doing that. Like Laz, for instance, on the StarLadder Blue side is the same exact thing, in-game leader in the main op. Something that like Fallen was like the rarity. He was like the exception to the case as an operating game leader, but we see guys like Nifty doing it in the North American region with Renegades. So definitely interesting to see that combination. It's a hard combination to balance, really. We actually have seen on certain match X-Crit's opping stats kind of go down because of his in-game leading. TyLoo look to control middle again.
A lot of emphasis being put on towards mid as some jewels are taken, and I mean, Poem falling there is kind of the start of the slippery slope of problems for Scars.
Yeah. Just losing a player so early like that without any potential to trade back, it just gives TyLoo a free edge. But still a decent amount of time from the clock, and when you have a pick like this, you have a 5 and 4 terrace, you can manipulate rotation so well on this map just by putting a little bit of pressure at top middle, a little bit of pressure at top B. It really makes Scars absolutely stressed out on what they should be doing. But Bars has a good angle here. You might have a chance at something.
It's the follow-up flash, though. It's so smart. TyLoo, like vultures, looking for their next feast at this point. Finally pushing in on towards the site. Bars is going to be able to drop the bomb. Looking for a second, but instantly traded. TyLoo dictating how this round is going to unfold. Only suffering 1 loss so far, as the bomb is going to be planted on towards A. Tekij out of this round, just looking for some sort of impact towards the end of it. A bit of damage here and there, maybe the chance for a second or even third kill. But that is it. This is a 1v4, and he knows full well there's no win condition here.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just save. I'm surprised he didn't run all the way to B in the construction, just hold that M4, because money's actually pretty tight on Scars Absolute right now. I don't think looking for exit frag was really that big of a deal. It's not like TyLoo are going to be strained at all to rebuy. Meanwhile, look at your own team's bank account. Like, it is not good, so I don't agree with that.
The comm came in likely that TyLoo were very, very low. Obviously, you saw, I think, 3 of the players on that team were all below 20 HP.
Maybe, but even still, like, I don't think it's worth giving up your M4 just to get a couple of terrace down who have no problems rebuying. Like, I think that
100%,
having that M4 in this round would have been massive.
Maybe some context behind the decision, at least.
Yeah. True. I mean, I don't agree with it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I can
certainly you're
well.
arguing a good case for why maybe you should.
Oh, I don't think you should either.
But
I think that might be why they did it at least.
Yeah. Definitely.
Kind of
there's definitely some logic to it, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, this is the beauty of Counter-Strike, right? That's why we love this game. There's always different arguments to why you make every little minor decision. And with that, every minor decision actually has a bit of a major effect as well.
Ooh, there you go, Bars. He's able to get one up close with the CZ. Trying to find the AK. He can't seem to get it. He's like, where did it go? Did it drop out?
No way.
It very well could have. Bars just can't find it, so I don't know where it would have gone otherwise. So maybe it just fell out. I know you can throw flashes and stuff through that. It's not like it's blocked off, so it's very possible that...
That's gutting. It is absolutely gutting. Especially when you've got Kev as well, so you want that AK. You know you can make some genuine use out of it. And your hopes and dreams effectively will go flying out the window. Quite literally.
Yep, so, again, a vulnerable bomb site here, as we did see kind of an apartments pushing a stack towards the A side. And Bars is running down middle and might catch Captain Mo here. He's got very low HP, stuck in the corner, and yeah, Poem will take him down. Instead, now Bars finally gets an AK in his hand. He's like, about time. Killed 2 people to get one of these. Or, well, one. They did a lot of damage to the other. We're going to go for it.
They're actually getting a lot of damage in here, so I think no matter what happens now, Scars have had a pretty successful round, to be honest. They are going to get shut down. X-Great putting in the work with this AWP. 3 kills for him. His initial showings.
Indeed, pretty decent damage there. gave themselves a chance. They got into a 2v2. It's just going to be hard with no utility, no kits to make that work. And in the blink of an eye, it was over. And now TyLoo have won 7 rounds in a row. So firmly establishing themselves in this game. Scars Absolute get back into a full buy, full utility sets. No AWP, but pretty much everything else they could hope for that they have it at their disposal. So they need to start finding some rounds here soon. This is it's starting to get to the point of no return if they can't connect a couple of rounds. As TyLoo are starting to build a massive lead.
It's also just momentum as well, right? This really is this kind of TyLoo machine cranking away. If Scars don't start to throw a wrench in the works now, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do to shut them down overall.
Right, I mean, I think this map is fairly balanced as far as, you know, sidedness, so to speak, but because of that, if you're going way down the CT side, that is definitely bad news because teams typically still like CT side more. Typically still do get the bulk of the rounds on the CT side, but you do see a lot of 8-7, 9-6 type halves on this map, so you got to make sure you put yourself in striking distance at the very least. Even if you're Scars Absolute and you prefer T side of this map for whatever reason, you got to give yourself a chance in this half, and so far they haven't really done that.
It's also the question of experience. How much experience do Scars really have with coming back from a huge deficit, right?
Probably
say,
not
for
much.
example, this goes 12-3. Is 17-year-old Takeesh, for example, going to be feeling confident going into that second half, able to find his feet and get those shots in that he needs to hit and needs to hit for his team? I'm not so sure. Either way, we are going to see a push come in. Somebody apparently still standing, then dip dives for a kill. That's a disaster in itself. Captain Mo climbing up on the site. I mean, this is just TyLoo causing a ruckus right now as they get an easy bomb plant. Scars being made to look like fools.
That was so awkward. Like, somebody ran right by a player, so it would have been a free kill for Scars Absolute there, but he's able to react and get the frag and keep his team up a man. And now Scars Absolute have a tough decision to make because money is low. You're trying to retake a 3 versus 4. You have kits, and you have a couple of incendiaries.
That smoke solidifies you saving.
Yeah, I think the other problem in that is Scars Absolute, they played, I mean, 3A, 2B, which is standard, but the 3A players were all on lane side, so that means a longer rotation through CT spawn to actually be there to try to go for the retake. And then on top of, TyLoo already being up a man, your counter utilities coming in to stop you from trying to make your retake happen, like I said, that smoke on the spawn. So, yeah, just a lot of things stacked against them, and I think this was the right choice to back off and take these M4s to the next round.
I mean, yeah, you talk about that kind of longer rotate. I think it works out about an extra 6 to 7 seconds or something. Like, that's a good chunk of time. Obviously, in that round, the difference between that is 2 kills, effectively, that TyLoo found. So, and a lot of map control as well as they took CT, so... And somebody should never be able to get away with that, but it is besides the point. The scoreline is delving pretty deep now for TyLoo.
I do gotta get some props to TyLoo. They had some really good utility usage on that B bomb side. Good incendiaries to cover a lot of surface area on the site itself. Make it easier for them to focus on certain angles. Getting up on top of the boxes like that, certainly a good angle to catch on people inside the site. So they were pretty coordinated on that, and it worked out well. They keep building up what is starting to become an overwhelming lead. It's getting there.
Yeah, we'll see Scars this time trying to put 3 players down towards the bottom of Banana, but instead of taking it deep, they decide just to fall back. Bars is going to secure one with a bit of aggression. Laz as well, meeting them as they come out towards Apps. Mo securing the trade, but Bars in a very good position here. You can play together. Ooh, that's a nice molly though from TyLoo on the ball with a utility usage right now, denying Bars' impact. That saves them. Oh, extra 15 seconds or so to work with. Allows DD to take that singular duel on towards Crow. They can try and go for a plant. DD is just tearing through them right now. You just hate to see it. TyLoo walking all over Scars Absolute. That one molly has changed so much, Dustin. Because if they try to retake at that point, could have been completely different. That short player denies them crossing to the site, denies the plant. There's so many factors that change with that short player thrown into the mix. But that one molly from TyLoo is incredible. Yeah,
it certainly held off a player and made it easier for them to actually get into the site and really, like, force Scars Absolute to slow down, I guess you could say. But even then, Scars Absolute still did have a man advantage, and they still had plenty of time. That retake looked really disjointed. Like, you had a player jump on top of the box inside the site around a smoke and just take, like, a 1-on-2 duel because, like, a couple TyLoo members were looking at him. You had another guy try to, like, they were just going 1-for-1. Meanwhile, one of their players that's supposed to be helping them retake is still, like, in the middle of mid, hasn't even made it top mid yet. So it was really disjointed, and they basically made it as easy as they could for TyLoo to still win the round, even though they were a man down to begin with.
Yeah, DD was just loving life.
Yeah,
he definitely felt
like, yes, please keep feeding us one by one. We appreciate this.
So by all means, I'm just holding right now, long corner. You just keep pushing around, and I'll be fine. I'll take it. It's any day of the week.
And here's the thing: if you're StarLadder and you're losing that round, which was probably the best looking round we've seen from them since they won their 3-0 round, and then maybe that 1v1 that they were in like way early in the half. Since then, most of these rounds have been pretty overwhelming from TyLoo. That round, you had a really good crack at it, and they still wound up fumbling it. So that it's hard to have much confidence in them after a round like that.
But I mean, let's find the positive in it. Those are rounds you learn from. I mean, when you're getting this LAN experience, those are rounds you look back at when you study the demo and such and go, okay, this is what we got to do differently.
Right.
So at least there's a point there for them to look at, obviously outside of the game, but still in the server, battling away. X-Gray is going to open up the round once again, picking away Laz. Things just not looking too good for Scar's Poem. A good position here, but one flash kind of ends his day.
Yeah, again, TyLoo just consistently able to get top mid control and consistently deny Scar's absolute information to make any kind of rotation. They had the early pick this round as well. Poem with the AWP this time, actually. Does get caught after one frag, and now TyLoo look to swarm Bars, he's in a really rough spot.
That's nicely played. Getting up on top of the box as well means this crosshair is up in the air when it should be down on below. Can't even get a single pick there when they collapse on the site. Minor detail from TyLoo, but actually pays off pretty big. Creates this 4v2 where Dekij Crow won't even think about having a chance.
Another big thing to note there is, like, even though TyLoo's up a couple of players already because they took Poem down, they got the opening pick on the round, they still make sure that they're like running into something together, making sure they're going to trade, even though they probably know there's only like one guy still left.
This is the interesting thing about TyLoo, and I was going to make this point earlier on, but it's even more fitting now, is that I don't feel like TyLoo have just ran over Scar's Absolute based on firepower alone. I think that's naturally played a part in it. But everything they've done has had some sort of tactical foundation. The fundamentals from TyLoo have been really on point.
And that's really been the side effects of Xcrit taking over the in-game leadership of this team. I feel like when I've watched their more recent demos, even though the success hasn't always been there, like I said, it seems like a team like MVPK has kind of been outshining them a little bit lately, for example. Still, though, I feel like this is the best TyLoo's ever looked tactically, ever, period. Like, as far as the fact that they can play slower defaults now and be more methodical, but they still do have those explosive executes when they're appropriate, when you want to change things up.
I definitely want to see how it holds up against more stronger opposition.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
To see, obviously,
that's a
TyLoo
fair
team
shout.
at a DreamHack again or something like that to really play against.
Right. No, I agree with you, because certainly IM Katowice didn't go as well.
Exactly.
I mean, they were competitive at that event. Like, they took a map off Gambit. They were close against Cloud9 on Inferno, but certainly, yeah, like, things didn't go well at StarLadder Season 4 either.
At least we might get a snapshot in this tournament from them, against a team like AGO.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they did get a series off Fnatic at StarLadder as well, and they took a map off Gambit, and they were close against Cloud9 at Katowice, so not bad, especially since Xcrit just joined this team not that long ago.
16-14 against C9 on Inferno. So
yeah.
Definitely close games. Obviously, talking about this round, it has been just two simple pickings. TyLoo begin to work their way in towards this slow-building A-play, but in reality, we call it an A-play because we've got three players kind of getting aggressive on short, getting aggressive on absent, and forcing those duels. But there's one key missing ingredient, and that is the bomb. It's over on towards B. It's a TyLoo side now who really are able to walk all over their opposition, to be honest. So they can bait out all of these shots, find all of these kills, and still then have the opportunity to decide where they want to go. And getting the damage there on towards the key, 16 HP, as the AWP just tags him.
So we do have TyLoo lining up some utility over here towards A, clearing out pit with a Molotov, Pop Flash coming in as well. But both CTs are in pit. They won't be affected by this too much, but Captain Mo still takes one out. Oh, my goodness.
Did you?
Was he midair on that headshot? It
That looked like a
it.
midair headshot.
It did look like one, but maybe he got back on the ground or something, or was on top of something when he shot.
That is...
There's not much you can do against that either. Like, if a dude's just jumping around in midair headshot you with an AK while you're holding an angle in pit, it's like, welp, I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Like, this was a great game. Thank guys.
Like, welp, I guess this is how it ends. I mean,
Wow, what a shot there. I definitely want to see that again at some point. That's a demo review for sure. Is he on the box or not? I mean, the questions we all want answers to at this point.
there we go. Bars finally making some apartment aggression work. He's been caught a couple of times up here, but he's finally been able to deliver a kill. And again, this is one of those rounds where Scar Absolute get an instant man advantage. They haven't been able to convert it before. They've had two other rounds like this where they've gotten a quick 5-on-4.
How quickly do they give it away, though? Not to interrupt you there, but that's going to be the question for me, is how easy will it be for them to lose it? I mean, Bas getting a second. Literally, he's pulling his team.
You should be winning this round
through
now.
everything now.
Surely you don't lose the round now.
I don't know.
Surely not. Shouldn't should be the key word, I guess. Shouldn't be losing this round.
Yes, we are going to have to wait and see. They're still looking for this B site. Obviously, TyLoo painting a target onto the backs of Takij and Crow. They've got the utility they need as well. The simple flash is all they need, really, to be honest. And mollies as well, just certainly helping them out. Slowing down this play as the push does come in. Takij is going to be forced off the back of Fountain, trying to spot them out. Struggles to land the spray, though. Can't quite convert. That's an issue. The site is now taken. Bomb plant going to come through. Crow also can't follow up. Now it's a retake from Scars. They're not on the site. X-Great is still going to be searching as well with the Sorp holding through CT. Waiting to see what the decision's going to be. That's a nice shot from Laz, though. Captain Mo being 1 HP, we should still be seeing a round that is done. But let's see how much can BNZ do. The answer is not much. Bars going to take down Mo as well. And there you have it. They do close it out.
Yeah, again, Bars, really good round from him. He had played somewhat aggressive in apartments a couple of times, at least peeked it from balcony, but that's the first time he really pressed all the way down halls, and I think it caught TyLoo off guard, who were typically able to get that initial space for free at top middle or, initial apartments control as well. So a little bit of a curveball thrown, and it pans out really well. This is, they will get that 4th round at least. After losing 11 rounds in a row, they do fit in one more before we transition sides. But still, you have to feel like one pistol round victory from TyLoo here, and this game's probably not going to be lasting too much longer. It's really going to take a big effort from Scars Absolute to get themselves back into contention.
Yeah, it's a long road ahead.
Absolutely. Again, it is a best of 3, so it is worth noting that. A loss here doesn't mean they're gone just yet. But again, whoever loses this series is out of the tournament, that is for sure.
Interesting thing is that this is TyLoo's most played map on LAN with this lineup.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're releasing...
Not the best results, though. I think they're like 1 and 3. But again, you have to look at the fact that one of those was like a 14-16 loss to Cloud9. Another one of those, one of their wins is against Fnatic, which is a pretty good shout these days, since Fnatic's won a couple of tournaments now, actually, between WSG and Katowice.
The age of Goldham. I think that's definitely a fair way to describe it.
Yeah, sure. So apparently he is staying now.
I was literally just about to go there. Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out. But anyway, let's get to this pistol between TyLoo and Scars Absolute. Scars Absolute looking to control mid. All 5 players here.
Trying to see if they can get themselves some short presence. Kind of fumbling around a fair bit, though. We have seen the rotation from Scars.
Yeah.
From TyLoo, sorry, over on towards A.
Yeah, because X-Ray's holding a pretty aggressive angle at Banana with the USP, so this allows them to have a 4th player at A, but they actually just bypass all that. Oh my goodness.
This is an issue.
X-Ray's in so much trouble.
You are right now, you have no idea what's coming. TyLoo quickly rotating as fast as they can. X-Ray just not facing. This is smart. Waiting for the push, securing a kill. Somebody finding just another, and from a round that should have been a disaster, X-Great is just making it happen, taking down Laz, taking down Bars.
Where are you at, bro?
Hitting the deck. TyLoo walk all over Scars Absolute. That round should have been perfect for them. They had everything going their way.
They had X-Curate stuck by himself at B with literally 4 people running through CT spawn and a dude at bottom Banana. X-Curate should be maybe getting 1 frag. Maybe 1 because he's playing that angle. But where was Crow? He didn't even come up Banana. His teammates are hitting B really, really hard. And X-Rich is getting a free kill at top Banana, or bottom Banana, and he's just like, all right, I'm just going to, no one comes to trade him. Crow needed to be there. I guess he was thinking they were going to flank middle, but yeah, he needed to be there to try to get that trade on X-Curate.
Not great.
Well, that's got to be frustrating. It's frustrating for me as a caster. I can only imagine how frustrating it is for Absolute there.
Especially when they realize it's one of those things that, you make a bad play and it sinks in your head, but when it begins to take hold in your mind that, oh, we know what we've just done. It'd be a real tearjerker. Obviously just feeding the SMGs and such on B at this point. 13-4, going to be the scoreline in this game. It's a shame how drastic the scoreline gets off the back of this pistol from TyLoo. It really puts them just so close to being able to close that map number 1.
And the force spot doesn't really work out either from Scars, so they're going to have to take a save fully here, which will basically give TyLoo 14 for free. And then at that point, you're going to have one shot at it. One shot to come back on your opening buy round. So it is not looking good here from the team of Japan. Again, still a best of 3, still have at least one more map to go, so that wouldn't be completely done this tournament yet. And again, much needed experience being gained. Very young team, everyone here in their young 20s or teens. Haven't really gotten to play a whole lot offline against top competition. They had never played TyLoo before, and that's kind of something. Like, they're in the Asian region with TyLoo and had never played them before now.
Just going to drop them dead as they do come.
Yep.
Running up banana, simple as anything. TyLoo go 14-4. One buy to rule them all. That's going to be what this comes down to for Scars.
Yeah, I think they've only played at like 2, maybe 3 offline events before now. And they've only been together since like the middle of 2017 as a 5. So, again, much needed experience being gained at a tournament like this, as well as being at WSG. So we'll see what they can do. Again, this is going to be their last stab at it. Full AKs across the board.
Slow and steady. Looks like the idea is going to be just to default out, hold for any sort of mid-aggression, start pushing and prodding in towards apps. Can't really do anything about TyLoo's sort of bottom banana control right now. There's no real retake strategy there that you can employ, and it's not worth it either, to be honest.
That's definitely harsh to get suffocated like this. Like, banana's not even really an option for you now at this point.
Well, they've been smoked off in mid, and in apps, and in banana. That's effectively a trifecta of smokes for TyLoo. For Scars, what do you do in response to that now? You've basically been walled in at every angle, right?
They're going to have to use their own utility to try to get control of top mid. I mean, that's really the only thing that they can do. I mean, at this point in the round, if you're a T team, you already have wanted control of brackets and apartments, and now this boost from Excurate could be devastating. He gets 2 from it. Does finally get traded, but still looking rough on them.
Yeah, but then they just get aggressive on the bottom of banana. So much confidence on TyLoo. Somebody making it look easy as he drops 3 heads dead. It is going to be 15-4. What's interesting is when you take a look at Scars, you take a look at the scoreboard really, you can see the same names cropping up again. I mean, Laz is a player that's gone positive time and time again for this team overall through their history. Same goes for as well. Kind of Poem, 10-16, not great, but definitely good numbers.
It's one of those things where, like, TyLoo is just firing on all cylinders. Everyone's playing really well, and then a couple of the guys that you needed from Scars Absolute to step up to have a chance at beating TyLoo is Cage and Crow, and Crow's having a really off game.
That's where I was going to go next with that, is Crow is on 3 kills right now, which obviously...
He's usually the top performer next to Laz, so him being missing in this game definitely is part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, we hate to harp on individual players, right? It's something we never want to do, but I do think that's an observation that has to be made, which is that you know, if you were talking about FaZe, you'd be saying, okay, where is Nico, where is Olaf?
Yeah,
like,
when you're playing against the best team in your region and you want a chance to win, you have to have everyone on your team that normally performs definitely still be there for you, and having a couple missing definitely is hurting them.
Yeah, now I'm going to try and just make it up through Banana 1, final stand. Not looking pretty as they already will lose 1. It's going to be peak after peak from the AWP. They do finally secure a shot and a second as well. Kij, how fast can you go? Can you make it to the site in time? That's the question. A good smoke comes through though, somebody. Why would you push that? That's ballsy as anything to Kij, trying to save the round as he does secure a 3rd kill.
What?
But look at the bomb. Why is the bomb there?
DD just ran up middle with an op and got the bomb down at T-stairs. This is not a situation you find yourself in often. And now Scars are like in a rough spot. They have to run back through out of an head to get the bomb. This is not going to be easy.
Oh, just DD laying siege now with the AWP as well, playing nice and close. They've got the flashes though. They also have 2 mollies and a smoke. So they have all the utility they need, but they're not doing anything.
This is a cliffhanger. Okay, we're back. There we go. Okay, that's the end of the game. So TyLoo, again, we had Scars Absolute get the 3-0 start in the first half because they won pistol and, you know, avoided getting killed in the force buy round. And then from that point forward, the next 16 rounds that were played, they only won 1 round. So that really tells the whole story. It was just complete domination from TyLoo.
Yeah, less than pretty. But hey, map number 2, that's going to be where we're heading next. And I'm definitely hopeful that's going to be a better performance overall. I think that you have to kind of try and find your feet again, Cash.
Yeah, I mean, this is their pick as well. They get to pick Cash. Of course, Inferno was the pick of TyLoo, which they won in dominant fashion. Cash is certainly a map that Absolute feel comfortable on. But, I mean, TyLoo it's probably one of their least played maps, actually. Like, the only map they may have played less than Cache is Nuke, which they don't play at all.
I think the concern is that Cache is a map very similar to Mirage, where you can be very individual in
Yeah,
nature.
absolutely.
You can kind of pop off as one player and have this big unparalleled impact in comparison to a map like Inferno or Cobble, where you've got a little bit more of a tactical foundation to it. So I don't know. I think this is the best map pick for Scars now to try and kind of find this second map and force us to a third. But overall, I still think this is going to be a very, very tough game.
Like, I feel like Scar's absolute only chance to win a map this series would have been Nuke, actually. But, of course, since that's like the permaban of TyLoo, then that wasn't really an option anymore. So that was certainly kind of a thing. I'll kind of wonder if maybe Overpass would have been even a little bit better.
Cobble? I mean...
Yeah, nah, I mean, TyLoo's Cobble is pretty good. I would say, like, maybe Overpass would have been their next best chance outside of Nuke. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe there's some leeway there on Cache. It's not as if, like, TyLoo is super good on that map. Again, it's one of their least played outside of Nuke, which they don't play at all, which we already mentioned. And Overpass is also a pretty little played map for them, but at least since Xcrit's been on the team. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to go with their comfort pick the next map, and hopefully we'll see them be a little bit more competitive here. But on Inferno, they didn't really have anything. What has to happen for sure, though, is that Cage and Crow need to step it up even more next to Laz to have a chance. Because in that game, for example, everyone on TyLoo was on form. So you need at least your trio of usual fraggers to show up in this series.
A level of consistency, really, is what you're looking for. I feel like if you're Scars Absolute, a long way to go for them now as they do try and step it up for map number 2. That is going to be what we are waiting for, of course. But hey, we get to take a look at some stats here, take a bit of a deep dive into kind of what TyLoo looked like. And a lot of this isn't really too surprising, I think.
No, again, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, you look at it and the best players on the server, pretty much all of them belong to TyLoo.
The stats don't look totally right.
Yeah, that does look a little bit off.
There we go.
That looks a little bit more right. As we look at the kind of some of the best players from each team. Definitely Xcrit doing a good job that game, calling a good game. Again, like we said, it wasn't as if it was just firepower that won TyLoo. That map definitely had some good coordinated executes. Whenever they did go in for a slide, they made sure that their spacing was really good. So it wasn't as if Scars Absolute had a chance at a lot of 1v1 duels or, you know, them having multiple people getting to just stare at one person. It was definitely a lot of TyLoo being in their face and making sure they always had trade potential.
This is a big one to look at, just the impact with that AWP.
Yeah, absolutely. Laz didn't get to use AWP a whole hell of a lot because of the economy situation. When he did have it, I mean, he did make a couple plays. So at least you got to see a little bit of, like, that individuality that Laz does have. Like, he definitely is a talented player. You got to see a little bit of that. Like, that first round, he took that pick banana, for example, really early on in the game. So at least you got to see him do something, right? You got to get out there a little bit.
Got to start somewhere, right? I mean, he was able to flex his muscles a little bit, but map number 2 is going to be a whole different ball game completely. They have to really find their feet now, otherwise we're done.
Yeah, again, I guess it was expected that TyLoo was going to win this series. They're certainly the favorite, but you hope to see Scars Absolute at least come out swinging a little bit more on Cache, their map pick, maybe at least look a little bit more competitive, maybe have a chance to force the third map. At the very least, try to get some more experience with this lineup. Again, very young team, haven't been around together long.
Well, at least that's the beauty of playing on LAN, right? You're going to be getting experience. You're able to just get raw maps in, which is always going to be a win, especially when you're playing with a lineup that doesn't necessarily have a lot of that. And younger players as well, obviously, I think more so needing that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we got to give a shout out to some of our partners here over at Hellcase and CSGO Fast. Do make sure to go check them out. Also, Loot Bet, you're going to see them in the middle of the matches, showing you odds for different bets you can do live in the game. So it definitely can be a lot of fun. So be sure to check that out too. But without further ado, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to bring you the next map in this series. So stay tuned.
Loot Bet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join Loot Bet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.